Hi, would you like to improve your worth at work and your grades at school? Learning Excel if function. If that's your desire, stay with me as we go through the if function. We're going to be looking at how to write the if function, and these are some of the things that we're going to be covering. So if you look at your screen closely, we'll be learning to write a function that will allow us to do that. We're going to be learning to write a function that will allow us to do that. And we're going to be writing a function that, of course, will allow us to do that. And we're going to be writing a function that gives us the exam grades, pass or fail, resit. And here we're going to be putting in the teacher's code. So we're going to be going through all 5 functions very quickly. So in the first function, what we want to do is to give you a basic idea of writing a if function. So here I could just show you the codes. We could just do that. If you look here, you're going to see the codes there in the formula bar, or if we double click, you'll see the code there. So what happens here is that we start the function with equal if open bracket, and then we are testing the value for a cell. So here we are saying if B5, that's the name of the cell or the cell address, is equal to 1, then we use a bracket to finish the statement here. It is supposed to return this text, and we're using the quotation here to represent a text value. So it is supposed to return I am learning the if function. So we're going to be writing that right away. Let's go. So we're looking at this cell, and this cell is K5. So we're going to say equal, put the equal sign there, and we put in if and open bracket, and we want to use this cell. If this cell is equal to 1, we're using the same number, close the statement there. We are now supposed to do something, so we're going to open, close parentheses, and then right between we're going to write what it is supposed to do. So we said that we're going to write I am learning the if function, full stop, and then we click enter. So if you observe here, what has happened is that the data set has returned false because the condition has not been met. However, if we were supposed to enter the 1 as is, then we would get I am learning the if function. If we were supposed to enter 2, then the data set, we wouldn't have actually found the result that we're looking for. So it continues to tell us false. Now in some cases this might be good, in some cases this might be misleading. So let's look at another way in which we could represent this information. So we're going to go down now to this cell, and we're going to be writing another function. We're going to be looking at this function here, and it says here equal if B7 is equal to 2, then I am better at the if function. And then we close this operation here, and then we say that if it is not true, it should just leave the cell blank, and that's why we have these 2 quotations here. So we're going to be writing that. So we go, let's go again, equal if open bracket, and then we're going to be using this cell is equal to 2. You could use any cell you so desire, then close what we want to do there, and then we're going to tell the computer what to do. It is supposed to type I am better at the if, and at any time you could edit what you're writing by going to the formula bar here to do the editing. So I'm supposed to write I am better at the if function, so I'm going to put it, closing it with a full stop there, and then like a sentence, we usually close a sentence with a full stop and then we close there. However, if the condition is not met, comma, if a condition is not met, we want to ensure that the cell is left blank. So we're going to put in double quotation there, and of course we're going to close the bracket, and there we have it. The condition is not met, so of course the cell is blank. Now we could change the color of this. It's a merged cell. We could just go on over here. I want to change it to a nice color. Probably want to put it in that color there. All right, now we could also increase the font size for that cell. We probably want to go down to probably about 14. So let us test the condition there. 2 in, and I am better at the if function. All right, so you see that was very easy to write. Here we have 1 and the information we have there. Again, we could just change the font size by going here, and we could probably go on down to 20. And we could change this again to 20. All right, much easier to see. And then here we have all columns and rows, but we want to just merge the cell. We're going to highlight the cell here, and then we're just going over merge and center. Click on that, merge and center, and there we have it. So now we're doing really good at Excel, so we want to keep improving or building on what we have just done. So we're going to be looking at the third thing we want to do here. It says, wow, wonderful, my if function. So here we have now given an option. We're given an option for this cell. So here we're going to go. We're going to be writing the formula again. So here we say, for the third if statement, we are going to be doing something a little different, and that is the function on screen. So we are saying equal if B9 is equal to 3, then the computer is supposed to return this information. Wow, wonderful, my if function, right? If that is not entered, if the number 3 is not satisfied, then the cell is supposed to prompt the user to enter number 3 in the green cell, and you'll see here the green cell is right beside it. So we're going to be doing something similar. We're going to say, write the same function, equal, and then of course we write if, and then we're going to be opening that bracket, and we're going to relate it to this cell here. If it is equal to 3, close that statement, then the computer is supposed to write this, my if changing what we had there before, my if function. All right, so full stop there. It says my if function, and then we are now going to tell the computer if this is not satisfied. We're going to close it. We have to tell the computer that it is text. We're going to tell the computer now if that is not satisfied, then it is supposed to do something else. So the computer is now going to tell the computer if that is not satisfied, then tell the user PLEAC, please enter number 3 in the brown cell. All right, and then we're going to close it there, and then we're going to close the bracket, and then we are going to be testing. So please enter number 3 in the brown cell. So you realize that that's not there. So when we do number 3, my if function, all right, then we're going to come on down, and we're going to be writing something now a little different. We're going to merge these cells here, so merge center. We're going to be writing, so we're going to be writing this here. Let's look at the function that we have here. This is a little different, and of course it's getting a little more difficult as we move along. Now here we're looking at exam grades, pass and fail, as you'd see on your notice board at school or colleges. So equal if B11 is equal to nothing. If there nothing is in the cell, then it is supposed to prompt you to enter code in the green cell to know your status, right? And this is more a nested if. It's a very small one. I'll show you a more complex one later. So if nothing is in the cell, then it is supposed to prompt you to enter something in the cell. Having entered something in the cell, if it is of course less than 60, the computer is supposed to tell you that you have failed the exam and you'll have to reset. However, if it is greater than 60, then it will tell you that you have passed the exam. So let us write that code very quickly. This is a nested if, and it's a very simple one, but a really nice practice if you're doing exams. So escape there, and we're going to be writing that code. So it is very easy, like we said earlier. We merge these cells here, and we're going to be writing equal if, open bracket, this cell here is equal to nothing, then the computer should say PLEAS, please enter your ID number. We have please enter your ID number. We want to ensure that it is text, and we want to get a full stop in. It's a sentence. And then having done that, you're going to close that statement. You're going to start another if function. If, open bracket, if the said cell is less than 60, then the computer is supposed to return this. Reset. Alright, so we have given you another chance, comma there. However, if it is greater than 60, it will tell you that you have actually passed the exam. You have actually passed the exam. Then we're going to be closing that, and it's always good to get that full stop in. And if you observe, we opened using tool brace, one bracket there, one bracket there. So nicely we'll have to close using two just the same one. And if you observe, they are color coded. That's the inner, and then that's the outer, and then we hit that key. Now if you observe, there is nothing in the cell here, so it's prompting the user. Just let me increase the font size here to 20. It's prompting the user to enter, please enter your ID number. So my ID number here is 10. Say that I'm a reset student. What if I entered 50? Say that I'm a reset student. If I entered 60, wow, you have passed the exam. Alright, if I entered 65, you've passed the exam. If I've entered, if I would have 100, you've passed the exam. If I entered 5, reset. Alright, so that's a different operation, and I'll just show you the code here on screen. That's the code for that bit of information there. And I'm going to be showing you something else now that we're going to be using text. So we use a blank statement here to start this operation. Now we're going to be using text. Now we're going to put the data right here. So let's just merge these cells. Alright, good. And we want to ensure that we have consistency here. So the font size is actually 20. So here, let's look at what we want to do here. Having completed your task, then of course your teacher would like to, of course, extend some affirmation. So this is what is going to happen. The code here is saying if B13, or if the cell that you're supposed to enter the data is equal to VG, which is one of the code the teacher will use, then it should return in the cell very good. Now if it is not, of course, VG, then it will prompt the teacher to enter code in the particular cell. Now we're going to be writing that or something similar right now. Let's go. So we're going to write equal if, open bracket, we're looking at this cell, if it is equal to, and it's a text, I like to go up top here to VG. The quotation there tells us that it is a text. Then we are supposed to, if you observe when I use numbers, I did not put it in quotation. We are supposed to comma, and then we're going to enter very good, and we're going to close that, and then we'll put our comma there to stop the statement. Now if that is not so, then we are going to prompt the teacher to enter the code. Please enter your code. Full stop, close it there, and then we are going to be closing the bracket here. Alright, and enter. So it is saying nicely there that the teacher should enter a code, and it is asking the teacher to enter a code because the cell is blank. Now remember, we are using text here. All along we were using number. So if we were supposed to use a number, that is what would happen. Please enter your code. That's not the code. So then if we were supposed to now use VG, then it would say very good. What if we were supposed to use any other text? Like suppose we were supposed to use LL. It will insist that you are supposed to enter your code because the code that you have entered is wrong. If we were supposed to use BB, pretty much the same, it would insist that you enter the code. However, if you were supposed to use VG, it would of course return very good. And it is not case sensitive. If you observe, I use capital letters there. Now I'm using common letters, and it is of course returning pretty much the same thing. So that's the lesson for today. Let me just go through. If we were supposed to remove this, then we'd go back there. If we were supposed to remove this, then that is what would have happened, a blank cell. If we were supposed to remove this, it would prompt us to enter a number in that cell. And in this, if we were supposed to remove it, it would ask us to enter the ID number, and come on down here, it would ask us, if we remove that, to of course please enter a code. So we go again, 1 there, and it returns I'm learning the if function. Come on down here, it's going to populate that. And there are times when you want to leave this space blank in your document, and of course for it to answer to something that the user would have entered. That's the only way the field would have been populated here. So if you didn't want anything in the cell, you'd leave it blank. It's not all the time that we're going to require the user to put a information somewhere that a response is given. So here it is prompting us to enter something for us to get a response. Yes, we have done that. And here we want to find out our exam grade. So we're going to put in our ID number. And for me, my ID number is 61. So it said that I have passed the exam. However, if I'd put in my friend's number, probably 50, what would have happened? Reset. You did not do so well on the exam. And here, because we've all done well today, our teacher would have used the VG code, which means that we did very well. Thanks so much for watching. I am Mr. Wilson from CSEC Biology, the cover page. Please visit our channel to watch our Excel tutorial. Click on that playlist there. And of course, be reminded to like, share, and of course, subscribe. Watch us each Monday morning for new publications on Excel.